much for having me here.
Oh, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
You are one of my favourite people to talk to at the moment because everything I get asked, I feel like I have to pick up the phone and go, Sal, what's happening?
Finance, people are finally interested.
I know. It's been really interesting.
Yeah.
And a lot of questions in this sector. So you have been a wealth of knowledge. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So let's just start with how the consumers are feeling. We've had 7, is that correct?
Correct, 7 rate rises in as many months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
the sharpest increase we've seen, certainly this generation has seen. I mean, the last lot of interest rate rises were in 2010. And so we've had a decade worth of homeowners entering the market who haven't really experienced increase after increase yet, and I think that's causing a little bit of fear in the market. Certainly some questions around affordability and how that's changing constantly, month on month. Every time there's a new announcement, we're seeing everything change. So I think there is a little bit of fear out there, but this is where, I may be a little bit biased, but working with a mortgage broker who's truly there for your best interests, helping you understand your own situation, helping you understand what your borrowing capacity is, and anyone who's taken out a home loan in the last sort of 4 or 5 years has been assessed at their ability to make repayments on the loan they're taking out as if the interest rate were 2.5% above what they were paying.
Right.
So we have already worked in that assessment, that further assessment, and ultimately under responsible lending, that's there to ensure that anyone taking out a home loan is not going to immediately fall into financial hardship the moment rates did inevitably rise.
And it was going to happen.
Exactly.
I just don't think we predicted the increases
No,
quickly.
I don't know if anyone did. That's right, yeah.
But, and there's been a lot of media talk about it, and I really understand the concern because the borrowing capacity, I think, is what has really affected buyers that I'm talking
Absolutely,
to.
yes. Yeah.
For me, I guess if you've been in the property market for a while, I think my first home, 1999, was 8%, 9%, something.
Yeah.
So, it probably didn't scare me as much, but certainly we're finding, buyers that thought they had a certain amount of money to spend on a home, they've had to reassess.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you're experiencing, and the amazing thing and the power that I feel we have collectively at a group at OC is I've had more and more and more people say, look, I just don't know where to go. I'm so confused. So when I can say, hey, I'm a perfect, beautiful person to give you some advice, like you're always there to help out and pick up the phone. So you've been a wealth of knowledge to so many of my clients.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, and that's what I love about this is truly being there for the best interests of our mutual client, seeing them achieve their dreams through property, which is what OC and Fresh Home Loans is all about. Whether that dream is owning your own home or looking to invest, whether it's the first time or building a portfolio, everyone's situation is different. And again, coming back to the purpose of a mortgage broker, being there to understand what your situation is, helping you understand. And I think that's the other thing, is helping you to understand your own finances a little bit better. Financial literacy in our schooling system is just so substandard. Exactly. So I think for a lot of people, it's a bit of a wake-up call, right, to really review what they're spending, and that's probably the biggest discrepancy I see between what clients think they're spending and then when I'm going through the bank statements and seeing what they're actually spending. It can be very different figures, but helping them understand that before they're committing to a 30-year home loan, which ultimately is typically the loan term they'd be taking out.
And for buyers out there at the moment, we've seen a little bit of uncertainty. So what's the biggest tip you could give to people that are now starting the process?
Yeah, great question. I think truly understanding their financial position, and I can certainly help with that. Any mortgage broker they're using can help with that. But ultimately, what we're trying to make sure is that the home loan you're taking out is right for you, and it's not just right for you as of of today, but what if life changes, a few small changes, and people can really find financing a little bit overwhelming, and a little bit of tightening the belt can be a little bit scary sometimes, and isn't it better if we address those things before entering into that commitment? So I think my biggest point of advice would really be to have a look at your spending, have a look at how much of it is stuff that you can pull back on, but how much of it isn't, how much of it is really cost of living. And as we keep hearing in the media, inflation rising, supply and demand, difficulties, and
cost of lettuces.
Correct, exactly. Who would have thought iceberg lettuce would become such a gourmet product, right? But I think understanding, where you can tighten the belt a little bit and make some differences, and therefore, when we're looking at your borrowing capacity, we're not just looking at what does the bank say they'll lend you, we're looking at what fits into your lifestyle and what will allow you to maintain a really healthy lifestyle moving forward.
And that's very, very important. So pick up the phone, give you a call, Sally,
absolutely.
That initial conversation,
Yeah.
Get all of those things in place before you start the process, and that's the biggest tip that I give to clients that are starting out. They're starting to look on the journey. Go and have a chat to a broker who's Sally's card, and it's been very, very, very helpful. So thank you so much for coming
My pleasure.
here.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.